Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Before It's Too Late. Today I'm going to have a conversation with a friend of mine who's been retired a few years and kind of get his perspective on what it meant, like what the decision process was, and how he's finding retirement after all this time. So stick around and see how his experience compares to yours or what you think yours might be. So this is my friend Mark, and we met at church, and he's been watching our videos. And as I've moved into this phase where I think I'm going to start getting some other people's opinions on retirement and what that should look like for me, he was gracious enough to agree to have a conversation with me and put it out so that we can talk about his experience and see how it's going to compare, how it compares to what I think my retirement's going to look like, maybe what you think yours looks like or is going to look like. But before we get into it, Mark, why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself?
Well, I worked for a utility company for 41 years, and for the most part, I really like my job. Last couple of years got harder. Seemed like workforce reduction, mandatory overtime. So I was ready to retire.
So you were ready to retire. What did you do like before you were retiring to kind of prepare yourself for it?
Okay, well, like obviously, I was into the 401k, and my company did have a pension plan, and so we did a lot of investing because retirement gets here pretty quick, and also planned on what we were going to do after we retired. How was we going to stay busy?
Did you spend much time like thinking about what's my budget going to be when I retire?
I did. Uh, I retired. I was not Social Security age yet when I retired. I was 63. So that brought out the whole healthcare issue. And so I was going to have to pay 2 years of healthcare out of my own pocket. But we did plan for that. And my wife, she still worked another year and a half. So that helped. But yeah, we did plan.
So people have been telling me I should know what my income's going to be from my investments and pensions and whatever, and then before I retire, make sure I can live on that and do the things I want to do. Did you try it beforehand, or did you just kind of jump in and say, I know I can do it?
Well, obviously we ran the numbers a lot.
Right.
We're going to have this much coming in. Here's our bills. One thing we did is we did manage to be completely debt free,
That's a big deal.
which was very helpful. Very
Right.
helpful. So if you really don't have any bills other than, groceries and utilities and taxes and whatnot, it helps. That's a big plus to be out of debt.
Now, when you say, people kind of joke around about being on a fixed income, and I know, since you retired, it's been 4 years, right?
Yeah.
So since you retired, there's been some inflation, things have gone up. Has it been more of a pinch, or were you kind of prepared for that to happen?
No. I don't think anybody was really prepared for the drastic prices and increase in stores and whatnot. But we're doing all right. We planned well, and obviously we're just like everybody else, having to pay more.
Okay. So if you had to say, is there anything about retirement that surprised you?
Surprise. I would say probably a big surprise was how time can kind of get away from you. Um, it just seemed like the days just kind of all blur together, and next thing you know, another week's passed. So I guess that would be the surprise, because you don't have a schedule. Somebody's not making a schedule for you. So
But you don't have any trouble filling up your time though either, right?
no, sir. Uh, Well, we get our grandson once a week. Um, we go to the gym 3 times a week.
Okay.
The wife goes with me. That's been very helpful uh, for not only just something to do, but for our health. Uh, I have been blessed with a lot of skills to help people. Um, so if somebody needs help, fixing something around the house or a plumbing issue or electrical problem, you know, I can go help. I mean, it's different when you don't have to work. And I don't really consider that work. I really consider that being helpful.
Okay. It's good. Um, what about like any disappointments? Like, is there anything that's not as good as you thought it was going to be?
Not really. Um, I do. I enjoy my retirement. I mean, I enjoy setting my own schedule. I mean, doing what I want to do instead of what somebody else wants me to do. I mean, it's been a learning experience, but now 4 years in, I mean, we got a routine down that's pretty good.
Okay. So I know you talked about being debt free and how important that is. I also know that I'm sure you're like me. We know people that are in our age bracket that aren't nearly as well prepared, that haven't made those things, made those I guess sacrifices early on to be able to be in this place. Do you feel like having done that, um, the stress that you don't have because of all that stuff just helps you just enjoy it more?
Oh yes, right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, you're right. I know people that retired that are still working because they need to. I mean, they need the money, and I mean, we're not rich by any means, but we're content with our lifestyle. I mean, we don't have to be going on a vacation every month. I mean, we still do vacations. We still do stuff. We still go travel to see family. But yeah, I definitely need to be prepared, especially if you're a ways off from retirement. I mean, save now, start investing because it'll be here quick.
So one of the things that as we've dug into this, my wife and I, we've come to realize how really important it is to be healthy before you retire, because I don't want to know that I don't want to say that it's harder to get into shape after you retire, but it sure is easier if you go into it like that. And you talked about going to the gym a few times a week. Is that something you did before too, or is it something you started once you retired?
No, that was something that we started after we retired. I mean, I was very active at my job, and the last thing I wanted to do was go to the gym. But since retirement, I'm not as active, and so I started going, and then I got the wife to go with me, and we actually really look forward to doing that. And we kind of, if one of us don't feel like going, the other one will get you to go. But we're always glad that we went. And if you're on Medicare, at least most plans that I've seen, they have what they call silver sneakers.
Okay.
Some of them call it something different, but basically they will pay for your gym membership. So
No
there's
excuse.
no excuse not to go to the gym.
Right.
But yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I've known people that retired and just sat down and their health
Retired
failed.
and expired, right?
You know, I
Yeah.
mean, you got to have still got to have purpose in life and a reason to get up and go.
Right. Okay. And you said you don't have any trouble staying busy. And what I know about you is you're going in 100 different directions a lot. It took us some time to find the ability to get together to do this little talk. So what are the things you do to take up your time besides helping some people with some projects around the house? I mean, what about leisure activities? Are you doing some of that?
We do. We're real close to the lake here, so I try to go fishing at least once a week.
Does at least once a week really mean 3 4 times a week?
Well, sometimes, especially in the fall, I'm over there quite a bit. But and the wife goes with me a lot, and sometimes not. You know, it's just kind of up to her. But we go bike riding over to the lake, a lot of trails, hiking. Uh,
And then you said you get your grandkids, so helps with the kind of family relationships too when you're able to stay close to everybody like that, right?
Yes, and that's plenty of exercise chasing him around the
Oh,
yard.
I suppose
So
it
he's
is, right?
21 months, so he's all over the place. So.
Okay. So you've got no regrets. There's nothing. How about anything someone told you about retirement that just didn't prove to be true, whether it was something good or something bad?
Something bad I think I used to hear from some people was you'll be bored, and that hasn't happened. I don't know why they're bored. They're like, well, you're gonna nothing to do. You're just gonna sit around and watch TV. Well, not me.
Okay.
Not me.
All right. So not bored. You're feeling pretty fulfilled. You wouldn't now if you could go back and retire earlier, would you do it earlier?
Yeah, if the numbers were there, I would have. Yeah.
So you were pretty conscious just about the financial part of it to make sure you're going to be okay.
Yeah, I probably could have retired a year earlier, but you know, you can't change that. I
Right. There's
mean,
no point. Yeah. There's no point in like regretting it.
right.
I'm just saying. I mean, but if you knowing what you know now and how easy it's been for you to fill your time and kind of how fulfilled you kind of just feel, a couple years, a year or two earlier wouldn't hurt your feelings.
No, sir. No. That's why I tell people, I say retire when you can afford to retire. Because I mean, I know people they say, oh, I'm going to work till I'm 70 so I can get maximum Social Security. Why?
Right.
I mean, and I don't think that they're that desperate for money either. I don't get it. But.
That's something I've been kind of thinking about a lot lately. Is if I have enough, why am I still chasing another dollar? Right? Because you just never know what's around the next corner. And again, like I'm sure you know people like me who waited that extra year, and during that extra year or right after that extra year was over, something bad happened either to them or their spouse or something that really totally derailed their plan for retirement after that. Whether it was derailed their plans to travel or play golf, even if somebody had a back surgery and all of a sudden they can't play golf.
Exactly. I mean, if you're healthy and can afford it, go. Because we don't know what tomorrow holds. So you are correct.
Yeah. And I think another thing that we've talked about a little is you think that you do such a good job that your job's going to miss you, and they're not going to miss you.
No. I mean,
2 weeks after you're gone, they're like, "Who is that guy?"
yeah,
I mean,
you're right. I mean, like you say, I enjoyed my job, and I mean, your job is important. That's how we plan and save money, right? But ultimately, you should be able to walk away, and like you say, when the timing's right.
enjoy the rest.
Right.
Okay. So, last guy I talked to was 4 months in. You're 4 years in. I'm going to try to talk to another guy who had his own business. You know who you are, and see how he approached it differently. But I just want to tell you, Mark, I really appreciate you being willing. I know it wasn't at the top of your list of things. I've never been on a YouTube channel. I really want to do it. I know that wasn't you.
Yeah, right.
So I appreciate you taking the time. And again, I'm glad to see you thriving in retirement. I hope I'm as happy when I decide to pull the plug as you are.
I hope you are too.
All right. I appreciate you, sir. Thanks again.
All right.
Right.
You're welcome.
Thanks, everybody, for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button. Subscribe to our channel. Like I said, I'm going to do more of these while we continue. Robbie and I continue talking about the rest of our life a little bit and our approach to retirement. So again, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know when we drop something new. And we appreciate you. God bless.